All right, so it's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game, and I'm here with this lovely lady, and we're talking about, how sometimes women are in a relationship with a guy, and they sort of want to, lead the relationship, run things, and what ultimately happens is that the woman is frustrated because the guy's not taking initiative, he's not being assertive, aggressive, and then she's pissed off. But what happens is that she's asserting herself to try to lead, and then the guy falls back, but then at the same time she's upset about it. So I want to hear your thoughts on this, young lady. Go ahead.
Well, I start with thinking that as women in this modern age, we want to, we're feeling more empowered. And we want to express that in relationships and in our social dynamics, and then finding a good balance can be tricky because on one hand, we're saying, we're just as capable, we're just as able, financially, emotionally, we can make decisions and we can do things and we can take care of ourselves and our lives and the people around us. And I'm saying we women in general, we have a tendency to resent this sort of dynamic where we feel there's a man who's telling us what to do or bossing us around because we don't need to put up with that shit.
And why do you resent that, though? Why do you think women resent that?
I'm saying because we are very capable. I mean, we're very capable of taking care of our lives and of moving forward in our careers and being empowered as people, right? And what I think becomes tricky in this dynamic is finding a comfortable place in a partnership with a man. And it was interesting because you and I both recently, you had a conversation with a woman, and I overheard a conversation with a woman that was just sort of displayed how much this happens and how much this can, these kind of dynamics can get in the way of healthy relationship development because the conversation I overheard was this morning. This woman was saying to someone how she's very capable and she's not the kind of person who's just going to wait around for the man to do things.
Right.
And that she was saying how her ex-husband recognized that about her, and he, like you said, he fell back, and he'd be like, okay, you take care of the bills, and you are paying the rent, and you're, whatever it is, scheduling doctor's appointments and making sure dinner's ready and taking care of all these things. And yes, she was very capable of doing it apparently, but what she said was after a while it started to piss her off because he was just letting her do everything and he wasn't stepping up and doing his part.
Right.
So, and I'm listening to her and thinking, well, she kind of told him not to step up and do, and I put this in quotes, do his part, because she was saying, I can do it. I'm not going to wait around for you. I'm just, like, I see it needs to get done. I'm going to fucking get it done.
Right.
Right. And she was capable of doing that. But what she said to the person she was speaking to was that was pretty much what messed up their relationship, was that he was just like being agreeable and allowing her to do stuff, and she was like, well, what are you bringing to the table? But
that's the hard part, because women will say, well, don't disrespect me by telling me to do this and that, but then you get mad when the guy doesn't tell you to do this and that. So ultimately the guy actually just has to tell you to do this and that. You'll pout a little bit, but at the end of the day, you'll be more satisfied than if he doesn't do it. You see what I'm saying?
And maybe to recognize that in ourselves.
Right. And then this is the problem. See, the whole problem is, and this is why there's all this confusion, is that women have been tricked into thinking that, what they're doing is, or I should say this, women have been tricked into thinking that what a man does for her and, you know, and for the relationship is disrespectful to her,
and
which
disempowering
which
her.
is right, which is
rather
nonsense.
than adding to the partnership and adding to the team that they're building together.
Right. But see, this is what I understand. The thing is that, you know, women will say, you know, they're like, well, I want, you know, I don't need for you to do this thing for me. I can do it myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they think that because the guy's like, I'm going to do it, it's like I'm saying you can't, and I'm disempowering you.
And I do it better than you.
Right.
And we don't want to hear that.
But that's not what we're saying, and that's the problem. This thing women need to understand. That's like I can, you know, masturbate and get a sex toy or a fleshlight and put it on my penis, right? And say, well, you don't have to suck my dick. I can just get this thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And then what's going to happen is I'm going to get mad or upset later on down the line that you're not giving me head. You see what I'm saying? That's how y'all sound. You see what I mean? Like, you're saying, I don't want you to do this thing that I don't need you to do this thing. I got this. But you actually want me to do it, because if I don't do it, then you're going to get pissed off.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And then, like that lady, you get divorced.
Exactly. You see what I mean? So that's the dilemma.
And there you are by yourself, because you're so capable of doing everything yourself.
Right.
But you are by yourself, and that wasn't what you wanted.
But see, this is also the problem, is that, you know, we got to look at the men's fault here too, because men shouldn't be telling y'all to chill out. You know what I'm saying?
They shouldn't?
They should.
Oh, they should.
Right. See, that's the thing. The problem is this. Most men don't want to feel like they're being assholes. But it's almost like the guy has to assert himself for the greater good of the relationship in the situation.
Right. And to say, I'm not okay with this dynamic. Mm-hmm. I don't want you behaving like you're and I put this in quotes, you're the man, you're the one wearing the pants, which is something one of my girlfriends said about her boyfriend. Mm. Remember I told you that? She was like, yeah, I'm like the man in the relationship, and I'm looking at her like, your relationship is going to fail. And that's Stop
what, yeah,
doing
and that was the same thing that the girl I was talking to sort of said. Where she was like,
so you had a conversation today with somebody.
Yeah, I had a conversation with this girl, and she was like, she was like, I want it to be my way or the highway, and I want the guy to follow me what I'm doing and all this. And that's her speaking in her masculine energy, which she's not really
put a gender on this.
No, I'm not saying a gender. I'm saying energy.
Capable.
I'm saying energy. Energy is not gender, it's energy.
Exactly. So why are you calling it masculine energy?
Because there is masculine energy. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's a gender.
No.
Can you just say she's being assertive?
No, but this was exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly what we're talking about. Masculine energy. There's masculine energy and feminine energy. That the man. See, I didn't even want to get this deep, but the man and the woman, the male human and the female human.
Yeah.
Right. The male human generally has more masculine energy, and the female human generally has more feminine energy. But feminine and masculine energy is not 100% specific to a man or a woman. We are just...
Why are we calling it feminine or masculine?
Because
why are we giving a gender to the energy?
No. Because
Can we just describe it?
No. Because everything is yin and yang. Like when you plug your thing into the sockets, you see what I'm saying? That's masculine and feminine.
So can you just say you're either in a relationship in one dynamic, either you're leading or you're following, either you're taking more of the assertive role or more of the following role. Like, does it have to be the masculine? Because I feel like that might be part of what's throwing us off, right?
What's throwing you off?
Well,
but this is what I'm saying.
There's some instances where
what?
Where it's very appropriate for a woman to take the lead. For example, and
no, I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm not saying that it isn't.
So I'm saying like let's not be like, oh, because the woman is taking the lead in this area, right? Whether it's like maybe she's better at cooking, or maybe she's better at the child care, or maybe
No,
she
I
has
know
a better
that, but
sense of what's going on with whatever.
no, but this is what I'm saying. But this we get into a whole nother topic with that, because taking the lead, right, is
being in her masculine.
no. You can be in your masculine taking no. You can be in your masculine taking the lead, and you can also be in your feminine taking the lead. But when you're taking the lead as a woman, are you in your feminine or are you in your masculine?
You're in your feminine, assertive leadership energy.
But this is what I'm saying. As a woman, are you? So what I'm saying is what we're talking about with these ladies, they're in their masculine energy. Therefore, this is why. Hold on, because they have right, because they have generally more feminine energy within them. This is why they get pissed off when they're dealing with a guy who's not being masculine. Because what happens is their feminine is crying out to the guy like, yo, be in your masculine energy. Why are you allowing me to do this? You see what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm saying, where this is why she's pissed off. This is why she is upset. But the woman has to understand, right, that her doing this and her saying, well, I don't need no man for this, and I could do whatever he can do, and blah blah blah. This is the funny part I found funny about, and you know, I just want to go on this tangent real quick, but it goes to what we're talking about. There's been a slew of movies that have an all-female cast that have been flopping, right? And there's a Ghostbusters movie that came out with all-female cast that flopped. There was an Ocean's 8, which was like the Ocean's 11 movie with an all-female cast that was mainly a male cast. So the Ghostbusters used to be an all-male cast. The Ocean's movies was an all-male cast. I believe the reason why it flopped was because they were trying to make women be like men, instead of just having a feminine type of movie. You understand? They were like, well, the men can do this. Let's do it just like the men. You feel what I'm saying? So they just put women in man's positions, and people were just like, this doesn't fit.
There's like a disconnect.
There's a disconnect, right? And so that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm bringing that up, because, so what I'm saying is that there's this big disconnect when a woman is, being sort of like in that sort of energy and you know, being that way where she's sort of like leading the dude, but also the guy, on the other hand, is messing things up because he's allowing that to go down. You understand? But what happens is that two things are happening at the same time. The woman thinks she's being oppressed or shut down or disrespected, which is why she feels the need
to push back.
She feels the need to lead. She feels the need to be like the quote unquote man. You understand? Because in her mind, leading and you know and being in that position is better than what the position she's in. You see what I'm saying? And then the man is like, well, I don't feel like dealing with or having to, deal with fight the girl. So let me just let it, whatever. And then by doing that, it messes up the dynamic for both people. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the thing that is going to always sort of piss women off. You know what I'm saying? And get them frustrated in their relationships, because it's this thing of not realizing that them being in a position of being feminine is not disrespectful. It's not being powerless. And so you don't have to feel like you have to overcompensate by being like, well, I'm going to just do everything you're doing and, and I can do everything you're doing. And it's like, no, you're going to be miserable at the end of the day, because that's not naturally what you want to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's naturally not in you to want to actually do that. You see what I'm saying? And so when you realize that it's not naturally in you to do that, right? That's where the frustration comes in, because you start to realize that that's not really your essence. Your energy is not really there. You understand? It's unnatural for you. You see what I'm saying?
For you to what?
For you to be taking the lead in a situation with the man. And it's unnatural for him to be having you lead him. You see what I'm saying?
Depending on the context, though.
No, depending on the context, yeah. But what I'm saying is that in
Right.
general, I'm talking about in general, in a general relationship, situation where there's a lot of different things happening in a relationship, it's generally the man leading the interaction, which makes the woman respect him more, which makes her happier in the relationship.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Versus trying to do all this other thing, trying to prove that she's, not quote unquote weak. You know what I mean? And it's ridiculous.
And I feel like that like need to prove yourself does come from an insecurity.
Right, exactly.
In general.
Exactly.
And feeling empowered as a woman can be challenging, right? And I feel like a lot of women want to overcompensate, but there comes this like just believing in your feminine power and your ability to take care of things in the relationship, right? To take on your domain as the woman in the relationship and bring that to the table rather than saying, well, I'm going to do everything.
Right. Or
right?
try
because
to,
that's just not
or
a
try,
good partnership.
right. Or try
anyway.
to compete with men. That's the problem
Right.
with a lot of women today. A lot of women are trying to compete with men. See, if you're a strong woman, you cooperate with men. You don't compete. You understand what I'm saying? Only weak women compete with men. You see what I mean? Because you're trying to compete to prove something to yourself. And you're trying to prove that you're not weak, but you think you're weak because you think you have to be like a man in order to be strong.
Interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
And then to recognize that you can be strong in a womanly way.
Exactly.
And embrace that and recognize that power, that being powerful doesn't mean being a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I would even argue it doesn't mean being, and I put this in quotes, in your masculine energy.
What? What?
Being powerful. You can be powerful in your feminine energy.
No, I know. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. You're like masculine and feminine energy is powerful within their own right because one depends on the other. So it's like this. So this is what I'm saying. This is why there's all this disharmony in a relationship because you have a woman who's fighting with her feminine energy, trying to be masculine, and you have a guy who hasn't tapped into his masculinity and is taking the feminine role. You see what I'm saying? And this is what's happening in today's society, and this is why.
When you say the feminine role, you mean being passive and allowing.
Right, being more submissive. He's following her.
Well, but I mean, I feel like that's just being passive. That's not necessarily being in his feminine.
No, but he is being in his feminine by being passive and following her. You see what I'm saying?
I think I just say it differently than you.
What? Say what?
Because I keep trying to emphasize that, you can be a powerful woman.
Mm.
That doesn't mean being passive.
But this is what I'm saying. Being passive is there in certain situations is powerful. That's what I'm trying to say. What part of what makes it powerful is because the opposite of what you being passive, right? The opposite of that is, I guess you could say, being like assertive or aggressive or whatever, right? So because you are passive, right, that brings strength to the assertiveness and of the man. You understand what I'm saying? The man can't assert his self if you are not being passive. You see what I'm saying? Like there has to be somebody on the other side of the spectrum doing the other thing. It's like if you're in the street, the one side of the light turns green so that the cars can go. What are the other cars doing when the other cars are going? They stop. And they wait. Exactly. If each car was like, well, fuck this, I'm going to do what this car is doing, then it's going to be a crash.
But I feel like it's kind of like I'm thinking about just like in this conversation between us, where one person is speaking and the other one is listening, right? And we're sharing our ideas and sharing our thoughts, and just because right now I'm the one speaking and you're listening, that doesn't mean that you're being feminine in any way. It just means that you're listening to me. No,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I'm being feminine.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
saying
think you are.
No, I'm saying that there are characteristics. You understand what I'm saying? That are more feminine. You understand? Because like even
well, that's a generalization.
No, it's not. I'm saying.
But why can't we just say it's more passive?
But
and
then,
if you're in a
but then see
team-
why? But this is what I'm saying. This is the problem. Why is it that whenever we're talking about feminine, it's like, well, let's not say feminine. Let's say, why is it that when it comes to being feminine, women are always against being feminine? It's like a curse word. It's like, well, no, let's
like,
not.
Why would it be a bad thing?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, why? And that's the problem. And that's where the problem lies, because they're like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to do this other thing because the other thing is better and it's cooler and it's more important. And it's like, no, it's not.
Right. So why are we associating power and like betterness and
right to masculine? Right, exactly. Because it's like women are trying to be like that.
Those are all characteristics that we're now associating with masculine energy.
Right, but also
again,
making it look.
Why I'm pushing away from that, because those are all.
But why are you pushing away from it though?
Well, because those are all qualities that women can embody just as much. Power, assertive leadership. These are all things that women
right.
can do.
But this is what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying. You do it in your feminine though. That's what I'm saying. And but that's the thing. But women don't want to do that. They want to do it and mimic masculinity. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, fair enough.
That's all I'm saying. And that's where the problem lies.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
But you're agreeing that these are all qualities that women can embody also, just in their own.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Being comfortable with the fact that they're not men and not feeling the need to compete against men, that they can actually come together as a team in their like relationships and their partnerships. Right? So then there's a dynamic of we both bring power and leadership and strength to this relationship in our own ways, right? So in a partnership for me, I'm bringing my feminine power and assertiveness and leadership and strength. And you, for your partnerships, you're bringing the same attributes,
right? And so the thing is, I feel like this is like one of the number one reasons why so many women fail in their relationships.
What's the reason?
Is not understanding how important their femininity is. Like this, there was someone on Facebook. I think Miles was telling me that some woman wrote on her thing, on her status. She was like, "Why do all these guys just want sex and don't want to get married and don't want to do all this other stuff?" And then Miles replied to her and he said, "Because that's the only time y'all are acting feminine. When we fucking, you know, that's the only time y'all are in your feminine. Every other time when it's not that, it's, oh, well, I don't got to listen to you. I don't need you. I can do this by myself. That's not feminine. That's not sexy. That
creates tension
in the relationship, and then it's not gonna work. You see what I'm saying? So it's ridiculous, but yeah, I think we're done.
Okay.
All right. So ladies, if you need any help, make sure you click the link below to get my program, 7 Highly Effective Steps for Finding and Keeping a Man. And I'll holler at you later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. We gone. Now, before you turn off this video, I want you to do 2 quick things. 1, I want you to click the link below and send me your questions. If you have any questions on dating and relationships, I'll make a video about it. And 2, I want you to click the link under that to get my free audio program, 7 Highly Effective Steps for Finding and Keeping a Man. And I'll talk to you guys later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone.